So really, to no surprise, Gaijin had decided to drop the dev server shortly after the teaser trailer launched. And what's more unusual is I'm actually doing this during TwitchCon. Now, I did attend the event and I did say that I wasn't really going to be making too much content this weekend because of that. Unfortunately, I managed to knock out the entire event in 4 hours. And I thought, maybe another 6 here is just not really going to be ideal. So I figured we come home early. Let's go ahead and do the dev server stuff because why not? But before I dive into the details about this, Gaijin has a very weird habit of taking what is essentially one major update and cutting it into 2 before the year is out. So basically, this is going to be a very small update, but we're going to be getting a second one. I think the dev vlogs are going to start about a month after this update drops. So again, just take one big one, cut it in half, and there you go. In truth, I don't know why Gaijin does that. They've been doing that for years, and it never made sense to me. Why not just drop one major update and make it spectacular, right? Just drop something random and make it cool, which they did in this update. I'm really looking forward to the next one as well. But anyways, I'm getting a bit carried away. A bit of a disclaimer before we go ahead and get started. This is the dev server. Everything is subject to change. Everything I'm talking about. And yes, there are some missing vehicles. The Black Hawk isn't here. The French helicopter is also not here. And I'm sure there's a couple of other things like the British aircraft. That's a squadron vehicle that also is not present right now. As a content creator, we don't get access to everything, but enough. Also, I get asked this a lot. Where did you get all the Golden Eagles? As a content creator, we get this for free, I guess, for the dev server. I mean, imagine if I had this in the real server. Oh man, things would be a lot different. Okay, my tech trees would be done for real. But no, it's just dev server stuff, okay? We're privileged as CCs to do this. We can't keep it forever. You guys know that. So with all that being said, and now that you understand that that's, or everything you're going to be seeing is not going to be final, let's jump into the Americans. You know, really, I just realized this is, I think, the age of the artilleries, or artillery pieces, because Gaijin is giving everybody an M109. I mean, everyone's getting one pretty much, okay? But let's start off with the F111. I'll be real with you guys, they are late with this. In fact, this should have been one of the first aircraft swing wings to come into the game, as opposed to the F-14. I don't understand why we have this. 10.3, sure, I get it, right? It gets AIM-9Bs, but at least you get a ton of ordnance. And I mean a ton. Holy ordnance spam. This is 5,500. Is that real? Is that a real number? I mean, for just, wow. Talk about carpet bombing. Oh, but ballistic comp is so weird about carpet bombing. I don't know, but that's fun. Rockets, you get bullpups, which are amazing. But at 10.3, you're going to be running into a lot of SAM systems, especially IR guided ones. And seeing that this does get flares and chaff, it doesn't really matter against Stinger missiles and whatnot because, you know, Stingers are immune to flares mostly. That's just my experience. And let's be real, if Estrella catches you, you're dead. Simple as that. I wonder how this is going to fare in ARB. But if we move over to the M109A1, 6.3 long schlong of a Paladin. I say that for a specific reason. We'll get more into that a little bit later. Artillery piece. Pretty much. I saw someone in the comment section say this is Fellowship of the Derp. That was like the best comment I've seen. Just Fellowship of the Derp. Gosh, whoever you are, you know, kudos to you, right? But does this get a laser rangefinder? It does not. Oh man, you know what? To my dirt friends out there, have fun. I'll be doing the same thing. If you want to see a video on this, let me know. Comment section, please. And then next up, we have the T54E2. That's right. Just, this is pretty. It's a premium too. What do you get? I looked at it. It gets Sabo, it gets heat rounds, 7.7, unstabilizes, my guess. Yeah. Cool. I mean, solid looking vehicle. Up to you guys. Use my discount code. But let's go over to the Germans. This is the exact reason as to why I said the Americans get the long schlong and the Germans get the chode. I'm gonna say it like that. YouTube, please don't demonetize me, okay? Same thing. Fellowship of the German derp. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm sorry, okay? If it gets annoying, I really am. Not much else. It's the same thing, but it's just smaller gun. Cool, another derp one, right? But here is the sort of star of the show, the Mig29G, which is essentially the SMT that we have in the game for the Russians, except that it doesn't get the guided munitions, at least not yet. That is subject to change. You get R73s, R60s, the export versions, which I don't think are any worse, to be honest. You get the T1s and the R1s, which is pretty cool for the most part. This is a dogfighter after all. Apparently, it's lighter than that of the SMT, which means that this is de facto the best Mig29 in the game, and it belongs to the Germans, although their CAS still kind of suffers a little bit, and really, I can't find anything else. So let's go over to the fabled Russians, and you're gonna like this one. I am terribly surprised they brought in the Wide Boi, the white short boy. Just why? At 9.3 of all things. At 9.3. Look at this. It gets composites. And it's not just bad composite either. This thing can stop high-grade APFSDs. I think it can even stop DM33. The turret face is just, look at that armor. Just look at that. What, 900? Almost 1,000 in some areas, but you do get missiles called the Rubin. Rubin? I don't know. It's Russian. Okay, 500 millimeters of flat pen, and you get the Burr. Nice names, Rubin and Burr. Sounds like a bad show from the 90s, right? Fragmentation round for the most part. I'll be using this. And it goes fast, right? What was it? 65 kilometers an hour. Same crap, reverse speed. But this thing, holy crap, it is... Why? Why didn't they just bring this in as an event vehicle or a squadron vehicle or something? But as a tech tree one, I'm not against it, but that's weird. All right, and then you get the BTR 152, which is basically 14 5s, but you get more of them. Yeah, isn't there another BTR? I have to double check that now. I swore they got another version of the BTR. Was I just looking at something else? Yeah, I was most likely looking at the regular BTR we have in the game, so... And I can't even find that. Hold up. I'm going crazy now. ZD, there it is. I was going crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I should have done this. I should have been more thorough before we went into this. But that's it for the Russians, for the most part, unless I'm missing something. So let's go over to the British. Now, when I first saw the Vickers Mark 11, I initially thought that it wasn't going to have a stabilizer, which was confusing to me. It looked like that in the teaser anyways. But no, it gets a 2-plane stabilizer, which is very awesome. But here's the bad thing. I think it's gonna be DOA because you have no armor. I mean, 12.7 millimeters, 50 cal is going to eat you. Hell, 7.62 might even take you out as well. But here's the cool thing about this, right? It's gonna have some good punch. Laser rangefinder C76A1 APFSDs, which is a brilliant round, by the way. This thing can get the job done with very little issue at 8.7, which, by the way, Gaijin, leave it there. No thermal sights. T76, no armor, Speedy Boy, just please leave it there. Don't touch it. And of course, we get the M109, the long... Is this longer? Hold up, is this bigger? No, it's the same. Okay, I just got used to the German one is all. Right, they also get one. No laser rangefinder, Fellowship of the Derp, same old, okay? Everyone gets one at this point, which is awesome. It sure as hell ain't no Vidar, though. That's for sure. And then they also get the HMS Iron Duke for all of my naval gentlemen out there. Yeah, I was just looking at the neck because that's the biggest weak spot for me anyways. Yeah, you get a premium boat. Hell yeah. Anyways, let's go over to the Japanese who have finally gotten some love. Look at this. The Tan Sam 1C. I don't really know its actual name. I think it's like the Type 81 or something. Regardless, they finally get something that isn't the Type 93. Is it any better? Well, that really remains to be seen. Check this out. You have no armor. You have 2 crew, which, by the way, can be killed by, my guess is 7.62 to the front. So the name of the game is do not get shot at. You have no armor to speak of. Now, to my knowledge, this is supposed to be part of an integrated system where there's a second vehicle with a radar and then it feeds the information onto here. I don't know how true that is. I remember reading into it. There was a wonderful blog about it that someone had sent me talking about this vehicle in particular. And I hope this really holds up to these numbers, because take a look at this, right? The P4001, 11 kilometer rear, 6 all aspects, and there's no upgraded missile to it. But look at these numbers, right? 35G overload. But, and it does have an IRCCM, which means that this thing might be nutty. Of course, the trade-off is that smoke trail is huge. You will see it for miles, but will the players be able to dodge it? That really remains to be seen, and you get 8 of them. This is going to be interesting. I'll make a video on this to see how well it goes. I promise you guys that, a dedicated one, so we'll see more about that. And we also get the Yamashiro, which is a premium BB. Whoa, big. Cool. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of top tier premium stuff, but, you know, Gaijin is... We're only so far away from the Yamato, the Bismarck, etc. So give it time. So let's go over to the Chinese. They only get one thing, a derp gun. Yeah, same thing. I'm telling you, man, this is the age of the artillery. It really is. No laser rangefinder. How big is it? Hold up. You got a few less crew members. That's fine. But more derp guns. Nothing wrong with that. To my derp enjoyers, there you go. Sorry this is short. Let's go over to... Finally, the Italians get something nice. This is the weirdest addition, I think, in a hot minute. And not because it's unfamiliar. That's the problem. It's familiar. It's a Leopard 1 hull at 4.3. Yeah, the armor on this thing can do pretty well at 4.3 for the most part. But it's a Bofors 40 millimeter. Is it stabilized? That's the important question. Is it stabilized? It's not. What do you get with it? All right, at 4.3, this thing is going to be nuts. The Leopard 1 chassis is very fast. It's responsive and very nimble for the most part, once it's spaded anyways. But why? I mean, I would rather see the T-72 turret on the Leopard 1 hull just because that's funny, but this, guys, you're kind of taking it a little too far, I think. I mean, the crew's exposed, so you can just machine gun them, but you know what? I'll take it. It's funny. Please don't tell me that's where someone sits at. It is. This is legitimately holding them in place. I like that. That's clever, actually. Man, talk about death pit, though. All right, let's take a look at, of course, another M109, but it's the chode version. Any difference to this? Nope. Same thing. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I ain't gonna say it, but you know what I'm thinking. But here's the star of the Italians. The AH-129D. They get another helicopter, right? It's an A129, except that it gets spike missiles. Yeah, finally, the first helicopter outside the French too, and the Germans with their PARs to get the spike ER missiles, which is called the extended range, not extra range. Tom, I love you, man, but it's extended range. I saw that part, okay? Let's see, 8-kilometer launch, firing max 180 meters a second, fire and forget. You also get Hellfires, but in truth, I would use these. Yeah, even though you get 100 millimeter less pen, let's be honest, it doesn't matter when you have fire and forget. So finally, and you get also Mistrals. I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Gaijin, can you please give which is the UMTAS, I guess, for the other helicopter, the Turkish one? They also get a fire and forget missile. Give it to them, make it a worthwhile premium. So let's go over to the French. So when it comes to the French and them needing some good IFE, even though Britain kind of needs it the most, I wasn't thinking about this, right? It's basically a worse Martyr, almost. Just no missile launcher. You get a 20 millimeter gun that has DM43, which is not bad, don't get me wrong. 5.3 is a good BR for it. It's going to be a mean vehicle to just bully other tanks with and Tigers, etc. But, you know, you got no armor. Your speed is not the greatest. I mean, 60, you're lumbering. And, of course, it's French, which means that it doesn't get a stabilizer because why would it? It might be a little impromptu stabilizer. I don't really trust it. I don't really know where to go with this thing. I mean, cool, we're getting it. Awesome, we're getting new stuff. It kind of looks like a 103, right? A cheese wedge, but fat. Does it not look like one? Does it get pneumatic suspension? I don't think you can tell without taking it out inside. All right, you know what? That's awesome. And it should be amphibious. And then we have the M26 for the French. That is awesome. Now, these are good vehicles. A little bit over BR in my opinion. 6.3 was a comfy area for it, but 6.7 does make sense, I guess. It's as you would expect with all the other ones in the game, so nothing new there. Now, let's go over to the Swedish. At least from what I could tell, they only get this. It's a BMP-1 with no launcher. That's right, you get none, but the same BR too? Yeah, there's really functionally nothing different about the two, except you get no launcher. That's it. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. Comment section, cool. I mean, I like this thing. I'll use it. Maybe move it down to 6. No, that wouldn't be a good idea, would it? Because these heat rounds, whatever, they're pretty gnarly around this BR. So let me know what you think about this, and I'll put in my own 2 cents with Gaijin and see if they can maybe bring this down in BR. If they'll listen to me, that is. But let's go over to the final Israel. They too are getting a chode of a derp gun vehicle. That's it. It's the same thing. Is there any difference? Nope. You know what I'm gonna say, but I'm not gonna say it. That's it. Wow, this is like the lowest. Is there anything else I'm missing? There has to be some. Am I missing anything? Let's just go to the outro. So talk about a small update. And yes, as I said earlier, there are some missing vehicles. The French are getting a new helicopter. The Black Hawk, I think for the Americans, is also coming, which I can show you. We don't get access to it. Trust me, I want to see it. It gets 16 Hellfires. It's a freaking Black Hawk, and I really want it. Am I missing? Am I just blind? No, I am not. Okay. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think about this current update. Is this going to be worthwhile? Which I'm fairly certain many of you guys will say it's not, and I don't blame you, right? Again, this is just one major update cut into 2 to kind of fill up the rest of the year. Is it lazy? No, it makes sense. I get why Gaijin does it, but it's just weird to me, you know? Oh, and one thing I did forget to mention at the very beginning, if you don't like these changes, if you want to see something come in to be different, maybe lower or higher BR, go to the forums, let them know, give your opinions. Believe it or not, Gaijin actually takes the time to listen to us, as they have since the boycott and the mass hate downvotes over on Steam a couple months ago. That was epic. You know, I'm proud of you guys, but now they listen. So give your opinion if you want something to change. Let me know down in the comment section while you're down there. And if you happen to have enjoyed this video, this talking head, let me know. Give it a thumbs up. Like it, same thing, you know the whole deal. Maybe subscribe. And if by, excuse me, I've been talking all day to the companies and sponsors and stuff like that to try to get some gigs with Elgato and other things, but I'll get more into that in the streams, okay? But I lost my train of thought. You guys know the whole deal. If you buy anything in the War Thunder store, Golden Eagles, whatever, to grind through this update, quote unquote, use my 3% discount. It supports me. You get, you know, to save money. You know the whole deal. I'm sorry, my brain's a little fried right now. I've been out in the sun for a good chunk of the day, and I've been at TwitchCon. So I'm just going to end it here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I will see you not only in the next video or even the streams, but most certainly in the next major update. Quote unquote major, like half major. See you next time.